So we finished reading the I Survived the Attack of the Grizzlies, 1967, but I thought it'd be fun to talk about it a little bit because there was a lot in this book that I found so interesting. It was a historical nonfiction. You recall what that means? So was it a true story? Was it based on a real time in history where the plot and the settings of the book could have happened? It was. And one of the things that it talked about was Glacier National Park. Now, do you know of any national parks that we have in Colorado? We have a couple national parks in Colorado, and maybe you've been to one or two of them. One of them is Rocky Mountain National Park, and I'll let you look that one up. But we don't think there's any grizzlies in Colorado, but we have a lot of black bears. So do you remember any of the differences between a black bear and a grizzly? The difference in their the shape of their shoulders, do you remember that one? That was kind of an interesting difference. What was another difference? There was a picture in the book that kind of showed it. Let's see if I can. Here's a picture of a grizzly. Remember what some of the differences were? And the difference in the size of their paws, do you remember what that was? The grizzly's much bigger. Now, can bears climb trees? Some bears can climb trees, but do grizzlies climb trees? Usually not. The other thing that we talked about was what was one of the biggest problems that was causing these grizzlies to come around human beings? Do you think there's a way that we could make a difference in things like that in our lives? And do you think there's things that we do that might be harming wildlife and causing them to change their behaviors? What about things that we do to water, rivers, creeks by our house? Or the way we empty our trash? So just interesting things to think about. Here you go, kiddos. Here's the picture of the two bears. Do you see the difference? One is a black bear and one is a grizzly bear. So they have differences. Their tracks are different, their claws are different. The other thing that was interesting to me is what to do if you ever came across a grizzly. So if you were walking, generally speaking, if you're hiking in the woods or up in the mountains, should you be really quiet and surprise animals? Or should you try to make a lot of noise and let them know you're coming? I think that's an important thing to know. And what else did they say to do if you came across a grizzly? Should you run or should you play dead? Remember, Steve survived a grizzly attack, and he did that by playing dead. And he was protected because he had a backpack on his back that kept him, his back protected. And you should never look them in the eye. I've heard that too about mountain lions. Where I live, there's mountain lions, and every once in a while somebody comes across a mountain lion on the trail and they say, never, never look a mountain lion in the eye. And you should walk away slowly, one step at a time, back and back. But you know what struck me is Cassie. What did Aunt Cassie do that had so much power? What did she do? Did she yell at the people at the mountain lodge who were feeding the grizzlies? Did she try to solve the problem right then and there? No. She gathered information, and what did she do? She wrote about it. And I think that is a really good lesson for all of us. There is power in our writing. There is power in our ability to share stories. And so sometimes when we're afraid or vulnerable or we see things that just aren't right, maybe it's even a tradition in your neighborhood or your school that you just don't think feels good. You can write about it. Not only might it make you feel better, but you might be able to communicate your thoughts and feelings to other people, and you might even be able to change the world. Take care until next time. Bye-bye.